Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your weekend is off to a fabulous start. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm creating 10 cards with the Spellbinders Card Kit of the month for May 2020. This month's kit is called All the Little Things and it's super fun and pretty, and I thought we would create 10 cards with it today. Normally I do my unboxing and then right away I jump in and do my 10 cards, but this month I'm a little bit late. Usually I do it on the 1st, but I've been having a lot of paperwork lately for my business, and so my brain was a little bit fizzled. We actually took a little bit of a holiday. We took a little camping trip, me and the family, and we did a little camping for a few days, but I'm back and here are my 10 cards. Now this is the die cut piece that I made during my unboxing. If you missed the unboxing, I'll link it at the end of the video. That way you can see how I created this little piece here. But we're going to jump in and create card number 1. I'm going to use the same die that I used to create my little piece there. It's the largest one in the die set that came with the kit this month. It's so pretty. It has a little lattice outline. I die cut out 2 with white cardstock. We're going to go ahead and take this piece. Again, I created this during my unboxing. It was super easy to create, but the stamp set this month actually has coordinating dies. I could die cut out those butterflies, so that's why I have the butterflies on there too. But I die cut out 2 of these pieces, and actually you only need 1 for my first card here. I added glue behind the very top of it and glued it down to the bottom of my card base. And the card bases that I'm using are the 10 that came with the kit. And then I'm going to use the reverse end and add it to the very top. So we have a pattern going top to bottom on our card front. This little middle piece we'll use as white cardstock in just a minute, but I just love the pattern that this creates. I'm going to add a little more glue to the corners up here. They were lifting just a little bit. Now the kit does come with double-sided adhesive back tape. Works fabulous, guys, but, and there's lots of it, but for my video, just to make it go a little bit faster, sometimes glue or a tape runner works faster, so that's why I'm using my own glue today. But the stamp set has some playful and fun sentiments in here, but it also has some real pretty butterflies that you can fill up that mason jar with. I'm actually using the silhouette that I stamped with black ink during the unboxing, and we're going to stamp 2 more of that silhouette butterfly, and I'll just use the coordinating dies and die cut these out. We're going to add a couple more butterflies to the very top and bottom of our card today. Once they're die cut out, I'm going to add foam adhesive behind there. I'm going to fluff up the wings just a little bit and add 1 to the little lattice detail we added to the bottom, and then we're going to add 1 more to the top, just to make it a little more balanced with all those butterflies. And that's all I'm going to do with this card today, but that's card number 1. Super pretty. For card number 2, we're using some pattern paper. The pattern paper is the panel that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to adhere that directly to my card base. It's a real pretty rainbow, soft rainbow tie-dye print. And then in this month's kit, there are some beautiful layered butterflies that have gold glitter detail on here. The camera's not picking up that gold glitter detail very well, but it is so pretty, guys. And they're layered, so there's a butterfly underneath a piece of foam adhesive, so there's a little dimension here. I'm just fluffing up the wings, and it's made with real thin paper too, so they're easy to fluff up. And then I have 2 die cut sentiments from the die cut pack. One of them says "This is us," and then in purple, and then the other one says "Loved" in the same color as the very front butterfly. So we're just going to use foam adhesive and add those to the center of our butterflies. This card's super easy, but with the gold detail and the busy background, I think you don't need to do much for this one. We'll add our sentiments, fluff up those wings a little bit more, and the sentiments have gold in them too, so it just looks really pretty. And that finishes off card number 2. Pretty easy, simple card, but very pretty butterflies. Okay, we're going to move along to card number 3. For card number 3, I'm going to do a little bit of embossing. I'm using an embossing folder from Spellbinders. This here is called the Florist Stitched embossing folder, and I'll link it down below. I use a couple embossing folders today, but I embossed this panel, and the panel size is a card front size, so it's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. It's going to fit my card front perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that directly to my card base, so we have a little bit of texture in the background. I also die cut out, or not die cut, but trimmed down a piece of the blue tie-dye pattern paper here, and I angled it to where we have a wider angle on the left and it narrows down on the right. Basically what I did is cut out a panel that was 4 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and then used my paper trimmer to just trim it at an angle. I glued that over my emboss panel, and then we're going to use one of the 3-dimensional stickers that came in this month's kit. This is a little tag, so I'm adding some white twine to it. And then we're also going to use this die cut piece that has the beautiful flourish. There's quite a few flourishes in the stamp set, or in the die pack, but this is the smaller one. Just adding foam adhesive behind here. We're going to remove the release paper and add this to the bottom right hand corner. Lovely. Now we're going to go ahead, there's already adhesive behind our tag here. I'm going to go ahead and add that, kind of tucking it underneath the greenery here. And this has a sentiment on there already that says hello. I'm going to tack that down and just tie the bow on the tag. Just trim the tails off. And now we're going to add a little bit more using the puffy stickers in this month's kit. I thought we would add one more sentiment. This one here says happiness. So it says hello happiness. We're going to add that. And then I also added the envelope, you can see there. The envelope kind of matches the one. It's a little bit bigger than the one on the tag. We added that. And then we're going to add 3 of the puffy hearts. We're going to add a green, a blue, and there's a little bit of a darker green, but it was too much to the first green. I decided we're going to switch it around and switch that larger green heart with the pink heart. I think that's going to work out a little bit better. Bring up some of that pink. And I think that looks great. We'll just put our puffy stickers aside, and that finishes off that card. When you have a nice open white area like that, it's nice to add a little bit of texture in the background. So the embossing folder helped a lot. I did dot the center of those flowers with my Nuvo Crystal Drops in Simply White for a little added dimension, and that finishes off that card. For my next card, we are going to do a little stamping. Normally, there's so much in the kit that I don't stamp and color during the 10 cards, but this little kitty is so cute and super easy to color in. So I'm going to stamp the kitty and then also 3 butterflies. I'm not going to stamp the silhouette of the butterfly, just the 3 regular size butterflies, and then I'll color them in with my Copic markers. The colors that I used, I didn't list, but for my kitty cat I colored in with some warm grays. I used W1, W3, W5, and then I rosied up the cheeks with RV000. For the butterflies was super easy, guys. I just used 2 colors. I used BG11, and then I added some gold with my YR31. But I just colored off screen and then fussy cut out my little kitty cat, and then used the coordinating dies to cut out my butterflies. But as I was saying, the kitty cat is super cute, and there's some, if you don't want to do the coloring in the die cut pack, there's one a kitty cat that's similar to this that you could replace. Instead of stamping and fussy cutting, you could just pop up the little kitty that's in the die cut pack. It's about the same size. Okay, everything is cut out, and it's so pretty. And then I also trimmed down a piece of the pattern paper that had the teal color with the gold. It measures 2 3/4 inches wide by 4 1/4 inches. No, 4 1/4 inches wide by 2 3/4 inches tall. There we go. Before we adhere it though, I thought we would die cut out some gold butterflies just using the dies. We're not doing any stamping with it. I just wanted the silhouette of the die behind my stamped butterfly here. We're going to go ahead and die cut those out so we have 3 gold butterflies. And then I'm going to use that same piece of gold cardstock and just trim off the die cut butterflies here. It ends up being about a 1/2 inch strip. This is going to go behind my pattern paper. Technically you don't really need to, you could just put it behind your pattern paper. It's not going to show the die cut butterflies, but just makes it easier for me. Okay, we're going to add their stamped butterfly over our die cut butterfly. And we're going to create our own layered butterfly with a little gold in the background. Now the glue does take a little bit of time to dry on that gold cardstock. If you want to use your double-sided tape that came with the kit, I think that would work out fabulous. But I like to fluff up the wings and then add it. This one I didn't do that, and it was a little bit tough to fluff up the wings because the glue kept sliding. But it's easier to fluff up before. I'm going to go ahead and add my last butterfly to the gold background. And then we'll set these aside. I'm going to add my gold strip to my pattern paper here. Just add a little glue behind the pattern paper, and then we can add our gold strip. There's a little bit less than a 1/4 inch that's showing on top. I'm going to add some glue behind this panel and add it to the very bottom of my card base. And then there's a little bit overhanging on the left and the right, so I'll just use my scissors to trim that off. We're going to go ahead and add our cute little kitty cat. This little guy is so cute. I'm going to add a couple pieces of foam adhesive, and then this is going to go to the right of our card base. We'll add him. And then we're going to use the foam adhesive, some smaller pieces, and add our butterflies. We'll add 2 to the very top, and then our third one we're going to add to the left of our little kitty cat on the bottom. I think that's going to work out great. Okay, we're going to stamp our sentiment. I'm using the stamp set. For this card I chose Hello Lovely, and I'm just going to stamp it with my black licorice ink directly on the card front. Stamp that, and then that finishes off that card. Love that little gold, and that little kitty is just adorable. Okay, set everything aside, and we are going to work on our next card. For our next card, I die cut out 2 circles. One of the circles, the largest one, has gold foiling on it, and it measures 3 1/4 inches. So it's a 3 1/4 inch circle. I'm going to add that directly to my card base. And then I die cut out another circle with the wood grain purple pattern paper. That circle is 2 1/2 inch circle. I went ahead and used one of the 3-dimensional stickers that came in the kit and added that to the circle. This way I could just adhere it just at once. I'm going to use a couple pieces of the die cuts. This little bird is super pretty, and I love the blue, and I wanted to bring down that blue a little bit, so I brought in a sentiment that says Charming from the same die cut pack. We'll tuck that under the leaves there. And then for finishing touches, we're going to add just a few of the sequins that came with this month's kit. There's actually 2 different colors. One's like a matte sequin, and then the other one's like a metallic sequin. We're going to just use the matte ones for this card. And I did go ahead and dot the center of the flowers with my crystal drops there. But that finishes, it's a pretty easy card, but I love the outcome. Now for my next card, we're going to use another embossing folder. This one is from Fun Stamper's Journey, and it is called Love Stripes. We're going to die cut or emboss this panel. This is a card front panel, guys, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. It's going to fit my card front. We're going to go ahead and use our glue and adhere that. And again, you can use the double-sided tape that came with the kit. We're going to add that. And then I also cut out a smaller white panel. The smaller white panel measures 2 3/4 inches by 4 inches. We're going to actually mat that on a slightly larger piece of the gold cardstock that came in the kit. So we have a panel that's matted. I'm going to pop up this panel with foam adhesive, and this is going to go in the center over our embossed panel in front. Once we have that adhered, I have a sentiment from the die cut pack. Now this is a thought bubble or a word bubble, and I just wanted it to be a sentiment, so I trimmed that part off just using my scissors. And then we're going to adhere that with foam adhesive on the bottom corner there. This sentiment here says, oh, you make my heart flutter. So I thought we'd bring in some more of these beautiful butterflies. We're going to fill in the entire panel with a whole bunch of different butterflies. And with that gold glitter, it's hard to pick up with that camera, like I've said, but it's so pretty. And if you guys want to see still shots of each of the cards, I'll link my blog post link down in the description area so you can see the still shots, but it's super pretty. Now for finishing touches for this card, I'm not going to do much, but I am going to add some antennae with my black Jelly Roll pen. Just kind of swirling those antennae so they are a little bit more dainty. And that finishes off that card. Just kind of fluffed up those wings a little bit too to make them a little bit more dimensional. Okay, for my next card, we're going to do a little die cutting. I'm going to use the inside piece for the frame that came with the die set this month. This is really pretty. It's great for sentiments because there's not only is it a pretty pattern that die cuts, but it also has pierced or dotted detail around the edges. Super pretty. I have a panel here that I trimmed down with some pattern paper that came with the kit. This is 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/2 inches. This is going to go in the center directly on my card base. The nice thing about the pattern of this panel here is it's like a puzzle piece. They actually layer together really nicely. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add foam adhesive behind them. We'll place one at the very top of our panel or our card base. And then our next one kind of fits like a puzzle right next to it. And then our third one here will fit right below it, like a nice little puzzle. We have a little bit overhanging, so I'm going to trim that off. And then for this card, we're going to bring in one of those dimensional stickers. They're so pretty because of that acetate. This one has an acetate background with a whole bunch of butterflies. And then it has a kind of a built-in sentiment that says happy day. I added that just between two of those panels, and then we're going to add a little bit of embellishments with the puffy stickers. I thought the little green ladybug would go perfect since there's a green butterfly in there. And then we're going to add 2 more of the smaller butterfly puffy stickers here that kind of coordinate. We'll add one on this top panel here. In the puffy stickers, there's also 2 leaf flourishes, and like I said, behind the butterfly is that acetate piece that has some greenery. I thought we'd just extend that out a little bit with some puffy stickers, so we're going to add 2 pieces there. And then that finishes off that card. For my next card, we are going to make a playful card. I love this print. This is like an aerial print of a neighborhood. I don't know what it is about it, but I just love it. This panel size measures 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. We're going to place that on our card base. And then I have a piece of vellum that's slightly smaller than that. I thought we would adhere some of the die cut pieces to the vellum. I chose the tennis rackets. Both of them, there's 2 of each die cut, so I thought we'd crisscross both of these tennis rackets on the vellum. We're just going to add a foam adhesive to the very top, and then we'll just crisscross them, making sure our vellum's centered here. Then we'll flip over our vellum, add a little bit of glue, not too much. I found that with vellum, glue kind of warps the vellum a little bit, so you just want to use a little amount. I went ahead and add foam adhesive behind the word play. We're going to add that just below our little tennis rackets. And then I have 3 tennis balls. We're going to add foam adhesive behind them. And then also one little die cut piece that says Gippy. We're going to tuck that under the tennis racket here. And then we'll add our 3 tennis balls. We'll add the larger one, kind of tucking it under the sentiment here. This one can go right next to the P, kind of tucking it under. And this third one, not sure where we're going to put this here. We'll find a home. Oh, it wasn't really balanced. I think on the Y would be a little more balanced. Add some glue under here. It was lifting just a bit, but that finishes off card number 8. For card number 9, I die cut out a panel. The panel size measures 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches, and then I used a 2.5 inch circle die and cut out a window in it. We're going to go ahead and glue that to our card base. Next, I have the little die cut floral piece. I'm going to use the floral piece as a guide, but we're going to stamp our sentiment inside the circle. The sentiment I chose was the one that says, "All the little things you do mean so much." I thought that was so pretty. I'm going to stamp that with my black licorice ink in 3 separate lines. First we'll stamp all the little, next we'll stamp things you do, and then we'll stamp mean so much. And I'm scooting it over so it kind of flows with the leaves of the flourish here, the flowers. We'll add our last one. Lovely. Okay, I also have 2 different strips of pattern paper. One of them is the purple wood grain left over from my previous card there, and then I have some stripes. The striped paper is a 1 inch strip, and then the purple wood grain is a 1/2 inch strip. We're going to glue both of these together, and then we'll flip it around and add a little glue behind here. This is going to go on the bottom of our window. We'll just go ahead and add that. We're going to trim off the excess here. We're going to add foam adhesive behind our flower. This is going to go right next to the sentiment, and I had a little bit of some white area under the sentiment. We're going to fix that in just a little bit. But I thought we would add some twine over the purple area. To do this, I'm just going to use my tool-in-one and poke a hole on the seam of our card base, and then I can use my white twine and kind of thread it through. And then we're going to tie a bow all the way to the left of our purple pattern paper here. We'll just trim off this. So we added our bow, and then we're going to go ahead and fill in that area just below the sentiment. I thought we had 3 hearts left that coordinated perfect with that pattern paper, and so we just add those to that open area, and I think that finished it off pretty well. That finishes off card number 9. Actually, am I saying 9? Yeah, card number 9. I am going to dot the flowers. Okay, for my final card today, we're going to use some more of the pattern paper. I trimmed down a panel that measures 3 3/4 inches. This is the pattern paper that has the peace sign on it. I always teased my daughters. They say, "Mom, it's," I say it's a number 2 symbol. They're holding out, you know, the number 2 with their fingers. But they're like, "Mom, it's a peace sign." It's like I just tease them with that. But anyway, I added that to my card front, and then I'm going to use 3 of the purplish clouds. We're going to add that to the top along with the kite, and then we are going to, for our sentiment, I chose the one that says Dreamer in the die cut pack. We're going to add foam adhesive, really thin strips of foam adhesive behind the sentiment that says Dreamer, and pop that up on the very bottom. And then last but not least, we're going to add 3 of the sequins. This time we're going to use the metallic color, kind of tucking one of them under the Dreamer sentiment and then one underneath the cloud here. And that finishes off card number 10. Thank you so much for joining me for my 10 cards. I hope this gives you some ideas. If you guys are interested in the card kit of the month from Spellbinders, it's a great value, delivered to your door every month. And I'll leave the link down below for you in case you're interested. Then there's a lot of club kits, and then there's some club kit extras too. If you click on that link, it'll take you to the items that are extras that you don't have to buy the kit to get. You can just buy the paper pad or the stamp set this month if you're interested in that. I think that's what the extras are this month. But these are all 10 cards that I made. I hope this gives you some ideas on how to use the kit for those of you who get the monthly subscription. But thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late this month, but I sure had fun playing with this kit. I wish you all a lovely weekend. Thank you so much for joining me. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.